In a world of spirit, there are two beliefs. One school says that there are spirits and ghosts around us everywhere. The other says that there is no God, only science. This debate is not new and has caused frustration in both the spirit and scientific communities. In the next few minutes, I will attempt to explain the ghost phenomenon with science, no theology or personal beliefs, just science. Biology has taught us that we are a carbon-based system. According to Arizona State University, September 27, 2009 article, we are composed of four main elements: oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen. All of these elements, aside from carbon, are gas-based. According to Gregory Ogan, a physics student at UST of St. Paul, Minnesota, the average person expends 8.37 by 106 joules of energy per day. Since most of us are in some sort of equilibrium with our surroundings, assuming most of this energy leaves us in the form of heat, he calculates that, on average, we radiate 350,000 joules of energy per hour. Since watt is just joules per second, this is roughly equal to the energy given off by a 100-watt light bulb. Additionally, Dr. Masola of Chicago, Illinois, who is also chairman of the Department of Family Practice at St. Alexius Medical Center, Hoffman Estates, Illinois, states past research has shown that the body emits visible light 1,000 times less intense than the levels which can be seen by the naked eye. In fact, virtually all living creatures emit a very weak light. Now, to learn more about this faint visible light, scientists in Japan employed extraordinarily sensitive cameras capable of detecting single photons. 5 healthy male volunteers in their 20s were placed bare-chested in front of the cameras in complete darkness in light-tight rooms for 20 minutes every 3 hours. The researchers found the body glow rose and fell over the day, with its lowest point at 10 a.m. and its peak at 4 p.m., dropping gradually after that. These findings suggested that there is a light emission linked to the body clock, most likely due to how metabolic rhythms fluctuate over the course of a day. Now, if faces glowed more than the rest of the body, this might be because faces are more tanned than the rest of the body since they get more exposure to sunlight. So what used to be known as one's aura can now be proven through medical science and study that we radiate electromagnetic energy that escapes as heat. Clara Maskowitz, who has an undergraduate degree of astronomy and physics and a master's degree in science journalism from the University of California, Santa Cruz, who is currently writing for Scientific America, has written an article for them on energy being neither created or destroyed. In her article, she writes, "The conservation of energy is an absolute law, and yet it seems to fly in the face of things we observe every day. Sparks create a fire, which generates heat, manifest energy that was not there before. A battery produces power, a nuclear bomb creates an explosion. Each of these situations, however, is simply a case of energy changing form. Even the seemingly paradoxical dark energy causing the universe's expansion to accelerate, we will see, obeys this rule. So it stands to reason that if scientists have proven that the universe expansion has to obey a rule of energy conservation, it's only logical to assume that we do as well. Now, the argument can be made that when we die, our energy escapes as heat into no specific form. It just goes away and dissipates. However, it was just mentioned that energy is conserved and does not die off. So then what about consciousness? In 2008, a paper was published titled Mind and Matter by University of California, Irvine cognitive scientist Donald D. Huffman. Conscious Realism and the Mind-Body Problem. Conscious realism asserts that the objective world, i.e. the world whose existence does not depend on the perceptions of a particular observer, consists entirely of conscious agents. Consciousness is fundamental to the cosmos and gives rise to particles and fields. It is not a latecomer in the evolutionary history of the universe, arising from complex interactions of unconscious matter and fields, Hoffman writes. Consciousness is first. Matter and fields depend on it for their very existence. Think about that. Consciousness came first. Everything else is a result of it. This is not coming from me. This is coming from a doctor, a scientist. Look him up, Donald D. Hoffman. So then, if consciousness is energy, and we emit energy, and it has been proven that we radiate radiation energy, and energy doesn't die, according to science, it stands to reason that when our body dies, when the carbon portion of who we are is no longer in animation, that the energy lives on. Consciousness lives on. That 100-watt bulb that makes us who we are lives on. It's a theory. It's my theory. And it leads me to believe that when our body dies, that is not the end of us. Think about this, guys. Science, in their own fragmented ways, have proven, even with consciousness, existence after death. Thank you guys for listening.